All right, so I think this is recording. Let's take a look at these two inequalities. These are compound inequalities. Um, we see that there's three sections to it. There's a middle portion and then on the two ends, and we see a variable in each section. So um, with these compound inequalities, I'm going to split them up into two inequalities and solve each one separately. So I'm going to write it as negative 5x plus 1 is less than 6x plus 1, and it's important to have that and in there. And other times, you with compound inequalities, you may have an or, and they have a different meaning mathematically. And 6x plus 1 is less than or equal to 5x plus 3. So let's come over here on the left and solve this inequality. I like to get the variables on the left-hand side and the constants on the right. So I'm going to subtract 6x from each side. I'll have negative 11x. And I'm going to subtract 1 from each side. And you can see that these ones just simply cancel. So that's 0. If I divide both sides by a negative 11, then I have to change the direction of the inequality, and 0 divided by negative 11 is 0. So I have x is greater than 0. Now, I need to come over and solve this other inequality. And again, I like to have my variables on the left, so I'm going to take 5x away from each side. Then I'm going to take 1 away from each side. And I have that x is less than or equal to 2. So let's draw a number line. And 0 and 2 are so close to each other, I'll include a bigger picture than what I normally would. All right, see, because of this and, both of these have to be true at the same time. We have to be greater than 0, which means to the right of 0. But at the same time, and we have to be less than or equal to 2. So strictly greater than 0, I'm going to leave that point hollow. Less than or equal to 2, this endpoint I'm going to shade in. Now, values of x that are larger than 0 are to the right of 0. And values that are less than or equal to 2 are to the left of 2. So you have to be, both of those have to be true at the same time. You have to be bigger than 0, but less than 2. So the overlap of these two lines that I've drawn on top of each other there is the section that's between 0 and 2. Now, in interval notation, you have the smaller number 0 and the larger number 2. Since 0 is excluded from the solution set, you have a parenthesis. 2 is included, so we have a bracket. And that's our final answer. It wanted to give that for us to give the solution set using interval notation. All right, so let's come over and take a look at number 10. I am going to shrink this up to give me some more room in case I need it. All right. So I have, I'm going to split this up into two inequalities just like I did last time. And I have 10 minus x is less than 10x minus 1. And at the same time, I need 10x minus 1 to be less than or equal to 9 plus 9x. So over here on the left, let's collect our variables on the left and the constants on the right. So I'm going to take 10x away from each side. And I'm also going to take 10 away from each side. I'm going to divide by a negative 11. Now, when you divide by a negative number, you have to change the direction of the inequality. And negative 11 divided by negative 11 is 1. Over here, I'm going to subtract 9x from each side. I'm going to add 1 to each side. And so I have that x is bigger than 1. So I'm shading to the right of 1. And at the same time, over here somewhere, I have 10. And I'm to the left of 10 because I'm less than or equal to 10. So for both of these to be true at the same time, the overlap, the intersection of these two sets is the set of numbers that are strictly between 1 and 10. So when I write this in interval notation, you have the smaller number, comma, the larger number, and the endpoint of 1 we're going to exclude from the solution set. The endpoint of 10, we're going to include it. So you have to have different symbols to indicate that. And so here's our solution set for number 10 written in interval notation. So hey, I hope that helps. Ask questions if needed. Let me know if I've made a silly error so I can edit it on the videos for other people. Talk to you later. Bye.